Greetings to all. Myself Vaishnavi, Assistant Professor, IT Department from SNS College of Engineering. Now we are going to see about the black box testing in object-oriented software engineering. What is black box testing? Black box testing is a software testing technique in which the internal structure, design, or a code of the program is known to the tester. The testing is done based on the input and the expected outputs. Why we call it as black box? The system is like a black box for the tester. The tester knows only the input provided to the software and expected output from the software. And then the internal logic or the structure is hidden. So we call it as black box. Objectives of the black box testing. Here we have to verify the functionality of the softwares and we have to ensure that software works as per the user requirements, and then we have to detect the errors in incorrect functionalities, missing function, interface errors and the performance errors. And then characteristics of the black box testings. Here we have to know knowledge of the internal code. We have to focus on the input and the output behavior, and then the black box testing is completely conducted by the testers. It is suitable for the functional testing and it is a user centric approaches. And then process of black box testing. Here we have the 6 steps for the process. First step will be that we have to understand the user requirements and the specification, and then we have to identify the test inputs, whether it is valid or invalid. Third step, we have to determine the expected output. In fourth step, we have to execute the test cases. In fifth step, we have to compare the actual output with the expected output. In sixth step, we have to report the deducts. And then techniques used in black box testing. We have the 5 test techniques used in black box testing. First one is an equivalence partitioning, second one boundary value analysis, third one decision table testing, fourth one state transition testing, fifth one error guessing. First one, equivalence partitioning. In equivalence partitioning, you divide the inputs into the groups and test the one value from each group. In second technique, boundary value analysis, we have to test the boundary values, like just like minimum value, maximum value, and just whether it is inside or outside the limits. Third technique will be the decision table technique. It is used for that system with the complex business logic rules. Fourth testing will be the state transition testing. It is used whether the system behavior changes based on the previous states. And then last technique will be the error guessing. It is completely based on experience of the testers. First technique, equivalence partitioning. Here we have the example for this test technique will be the age is given. Equivalence partition it may be the given age is between 18 and 65. If we give the age as 25, it gives us the output as valid partitioning because 25 comes under 18 to 65. If we give the age as 15, it comes under invalid partitioning. It is because it comes under below 18. And then second one will be the boundary and value analysis. In boundary value analysis, we see under the boundary values. Here the acceptance values as 1 to 100. If we have as the lower boundary value was 1 and then upper boundary value was the 100. If we give the values from 1 to 100, the value will be accepted. And the third testing technique will be the decision table testing. Here we have the example for the loan application system. If we have the high credit score, automatically the loan will be approval. If we have the low credit score, the loan cannot be sanctioned like this. Then fourth one state transition testing technique. In state transition testing technique, we have the example of a user login system. The state might include the logged out, login and suspended state. And then fifth one will be the error guessing. In error guessing, it is a black box testing technique. Here we have an example of ATM. In ATM, if we enter the correct pin, automatically we can use the ATM. If we enter the wrong pin like 123A, it shows the error message, that is invalid pin. And then examples of the black box testing. In examples, we have a login page testing. Here we have some test cases. In first test cases, if we give the valid username and valid password, the expected output will be the successful login. If we give invalid username and the valid password, it shows the output as error message. And then tools we used for the black box testing is Selenium, QTP, Test Complete, Renorex, and Appium. Here Appium is a mobile testing software. And then advantages. Here in black box testing, we have 5 advantages. Here the tester does not know the programming languages, and then it helps in detecting the missing functionalities, and it is effective for the larger systems, and the test from the user's perspective, and it is completely suitable for the acceptance testing. And then disadvantages, it comes under limited coverages, and it is difficult to design the test cases without knowing the code, and then changes of missing the logical errors inside the code. Difference between the black box and the white box testing. Here in black box testing, we no knowledge of the internal code, but in white box testing, we have to know the codings clearly. In black box, it is completely focuses on the functionality, but in white box, it is focuses on logic and the structure. In black box, it is completely done by the tester. Here it is done by the developers, and then it comes under functional testing. In white box, it is a structural testing. Real life example will be the ATM machine. Here we have that input. If we give a correct pin as an input, the expected output will be the access to account. Like this, we have the test cases. Thank you.